Um, Gina and I have worked together here at Crossroads for, I want to say, about 6 years. And I have been in my work with addictions and teaching a class on addictions. The ACE study is something that I have come to find very, very helpful and useful in explaining how addictions develop and understanding how impactful trauma, big T trauma, is in people's lives. So I think that was part of Gina's inviting me to work with her. But I think in our early conversations, it was clear that we both really wanted to see trauma, little t traumas, identified and in some ways normalized or brought into the space of talking about it in counseling, because there's a lot of people who walk in the door and feel like they don't have much trauma in their stories because maybe they wouldn't qualify for many of the ACE questionnaire items. So yeah, that was the approach. And when we started working together on it, we just kind of started asking questions like, what are the things that we, wish clients would have disclosed up front, that down the road we found out, and that were remarkably impactful and would have been good to know from the beginning. We also then asked a number of other therapists in our community what they had seen and what they would include as well. And we just kind of went through a process of paring that down and trying to hone in on what are the themes and what are the typical events or the typical experiences that would be good to identify as little t traumas. Yeah, so I think the basic idea is that we wanted to give permission to people naming little t traumas in their life, not to disrespect or minimize the big T traumas that the ACE study questionnaire exposed or made common, but to help people have language, and again, normalize might be the wrong word, but to help them see in the context of a broader experience that the things they experienced were traumatic on some level, that the impact of those events, even if they were not big T traumas, still left marks, and to allow them to name them, and really to allow therapists, family members to be able to spot them quicker so that they can be used in therapy or in conversations in their community to help work through the damage that was done. Mm-hmm. So I think the thought was really twofold. One was to start to spot how generational patterns get passed down. Someone that when I first started working where I'm at, someone had said that working with clients is like helping them stand on a mountain and helping them deflect some of the avalanche that fell into their life from falling into their kids' lives. But the idea is that there are patterns that spill downhill, and by looking at a generation or two above you, you can start to have compassion for yourself and your own story, for how it was gonna happen. That's not to be fatalistic, but that some dynamics are going to spill into our lives without us having any culpability in it. So compassion for your own story, but I think also compassion for the stories of people in your family. I think many of us can be very bitter, can be prone to resentment toward people in our lives, in our families, that may have caused damage. And so this, on some level, allows us to view the people who may have caused damage as part of their own generational cycle, their own generational trickle down, if you will. And to sort of view the system as part of the damage causer. And to be able to then maybe even work toward forgiveness, compassion. That's actually part of breaking that cycle, is not just viewing them through a negative light.